Welcome. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to our advanced trainings on Thursday night with Healy. My name is Petra. If you don't know me, if this is your first time here, um, I have been in energy world since I was 7 years old. I don't know everything, and I still believe, no matter how many experiences I had, and still having them, I still don't know everything. And sometimes I feel like I'm a student all the time. And when it comes to energy, um, people ask me, energy is just one big space. Yeah. And I'm like, nope, energy is not one big space. It's a big space, but it's like physical world, right? Everything's layered. So when everything's layered, we need to learn the layers so we know how to operate. It's like a labyrinth, right? So we need to find ways of through the forest, yeah. And especially when we are working with something that, to the physical body, to the 3D world or where we are living, it's quite unknown because of course, we live with amnesia, right? In essence, we are first spirit and then the physical body. And when we understand that and we have the experience that we are first spirit and then the physical body, we understand that what we live here in this world, this is maybe stretching some brains here, but it is a dream. Yeah. So when we actually understand that it is a dream, um, well, then we are empowered because we know that if it's a dream, we are free and we can actually change and shift anything within ourselves because everything exists in energy first before it is in physical. So, tonight, before we start, I have popped in a question. Hope you can see it in the chat. Um, Today's topic is meridians and emotions. So we are not going deeply into the meridians, and detailed everything. We might do that. I wanted to bring in a guest this month, but unfortunately didn't end up being the way that I wanted. So we are compromising, and I guess this is the way it needed to be. I trust in the process. Whatever needs to be, needs to be. And I do want to bring people that have more knowledge on this topic that I do, with traditional Chinese medicine and people that actually work with Healy on this level. And hopefully that aligns in the future. But for tonight, what we are going to do, we are going to look at some meridians and the basics so you can actually start working with them through Healy and start learning about your body. Yeah, because now we have been diving this month into the physical body. The physical body to me is really important because it is, in essence, connected to everything. And it's something tangible that we can work with. Please don't think it's the only thing you need to work with because anything on physical, it's a reflection from the energetic. And energetic is a reflection on a physical. So working on all levels, like we talked about last year, of our body is aligning everything together in order for the change to happen. And we looked at that when we looked at manifestation. We know that when we align our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions on a physical level, things change in the physical reality. So make sure that you don't forget about the other parts of yourself when you're working on yourself. But tonight, we will be looking at meridians, but majority the emotions connected to the meridians, and also how you can start recognizing things within your body. And there's probably people here that have more knowledge than me, and if you do have more knowledge on this, please, at the end, I would love you to raise your hand, share your knowledge with others as well, so I can learn something new, so I'm not the only one talking all the time. Which is good. I love that. Learning from others. So I popped in a question, and I would love you to actually ask and yourself before you answer. What are the emotions, or what emotion, specific emotion, is actually the most challenging for you right now? And if you have the awareness when the emotion happens, where in the body do you actually feel it? So if you check in with yourself and you look at what's going on with your life right now, and I'm guessing with, you know, looking at the energetic of the astrology and everything that I know of my own limited knowledge, and hearing from a lot of other people in my world, I'm guessing it's quite challenging for the last month. And if it has been challenging for the last month, please let me know what is the emotion that you've been challenged by, because we are changing and shifting the energy this month, and this month is quite intense month for a lot of people, because we are kind of tuning into a new energy. We've been working with a 20-year cycle, and we've closed, oh, this year we're closing a 20-year cycle of transformation, and we are starting a new 20-year cycle of transformation, and we need to kind of tune into a new energy, and our body needs to adjust to the new frequencies. So it might be kind of challenging. So this meridian and emotion training kind of drops right in at the right timing, I guess. And we're having I don't know if you know, but we're having a beautiful full moon this weekend, and some challenging energies in a way. Challenging, I need to kind of reframe that. Challenge for me doesn't mean bad. Yeah. Challenge for me means an opportunity to shift something that has not been working for me. Yeah. So when people say to me, you know, there's intense energy happening, you mean bad? And I'm like, there is no bad or good. Everything is an opportunity for us to actually transform ourselves, collapse inwards, and expand outwards. So we actually become who we are and let go of who we are not. So a beautiful energy to work with. Full moons are always energy rising, especially emotional energy, because it's connected to the water. So a lot of emotions coming to the surface that we might not have noticed before. So this is a great practice for you to start noticing your emotions in the body. And today we are going to learn the connections to the physical body and the organs that are connected to the meridians. And then also some symptoms that you might notice within your body, so you can start understanding the rhythm of your body and the pathways of your body and how they actually present in your life when you are facing certain challenges and issues in your life. Yeah, because we are facing our mirrors in challenges every single day with any relation we have to the world, to the people around us, no matter what that is. Yeah. Okay, so hello from Malaysia. Beautiful. Okay, let me see what are the challenging emotions before we dive in. Confusion in my diaphragm area. Confusion, that's an interesting one. Confusion always comes with transformation, right? We need to go into chaos in order to actually rise up in clarity. Fear and anger, okay? Irritability, okay? Sounds like EP. What's a EP? I'm sorry. I'm really bad with short stuff and abbreviations. Even my friends know that, and they send me all these abbreviations, and I'm like, what the heck is that? So yeah, let me know what that is, Debbie. Letting go of something big hurts my heart. Letting go of something big hurts my heart. Okay, so it hurts your heart. What is the emotion behind it? So I will challenge you here, Lorraine. So if you're letting go, what is the emotion behind it? Is it grief? Is it sadness? Is it fear? Is it anger? What is rising up for you in the body? Frustration, disappointment, chest. Okay. Finance obstacles. Okay, so Dipti, finance is a physical element that is a mirror to you, yeah? And obstacles are challenges. So we need to define what is the emotion that is behind it. So if we are, for example, challenged by finances in our life, what is the emotion that's rising? Is it fear? Is it frustration? Yeah. So what is the emotion behind the physical element, the mirror, the issue that is in front of us? Stress, headache, heartburn. Okay, so stress. Okay, stress is a big umbrella, right? So stress, we need to define. So what is causing the stress? So is it fear causing the stress? Is it, agitation from anger, fear, and, frustration? What is behind that stress? So that's always something that I would like to invite you to start, because as we grow up, yeah, our parents never knew how to define emotions, right? Or if you had parents that knew how to do that, great, awesome. You're one of the rare people. But we all came through families that even our parents didn't know how to do that. So when we are actually learning emotions when we are young, up to year 7, where we are actually open in energetic space, we live in theta waves, meaning that we are like sponges and we learn from other people and especially from our parents. Um, if we don't have words to define the certain emotion that we are experiencing, we kind of pop them into big umbrellas. Yeah. But I would love to challenge you today, in order to actually understand your body, you need to understand, to pinpoint and frame the emotion. Why is that important? It's important for your brain, because as soon as you have the awareness of that, the emotion actually subsides, because it's like you're bringing it to the light and it's like it evaporates. Yeah. And sometimes it evaporates with, full on expression, like I've shared the other day with you. For me, sometimes it's crying, sometimes it can be screaming, yelling, sometimes it just can be awareness and the feeling goes away. Yeah, the sensation in the body goes away and the emotion is transformed. So we think that emotions are quite intense, and they are, but they're quite challenging to transform and work with. Emotions are actually the easiest way, the easiest possible energy to work with. It's the approach we have and how we address that. And it's actually, in energy, things are simple. I know in our brain, 3D brain doesn't look like it, but in energy, things are really simple. That doesn't mean they're easy, but they are simple. So there's a simplistic way of approaching things, and the more we complicate, the worse we get. Yeah. So the simplest we move, the more we move to simplicity, the faster we're gonna get results. Okay, anxiety, fear, stress, back pain. Okay, that can be caused from different emotions. Letting go hard, embodiment processing, sensing the body where it is. Okay, okay. Deep anger, excess eating, grief and sadness, fear. Okay, so we have a topic. Sadness, fear, anger, frustration goes under anger. Yeah, so there's a lot of similar emotions, as you see, right? So you're not alone in this. So let's start sharing, and let's look at things so we can actually see what we can do. Okay, let me just get my slides. Here we go. Okay, meridians and emotions. So before we go anywhere, we know that Healy and any Healy device make Healy as well. Our disclaimer: this is a microcurrent frequency device, and it is not intended to be for any medical applications. They're not intended to cure, treat, mitigate, diagnose, or prevent any disease or medical condition. So please make sure that you understand that this is not a magic pill and it's not a magic wand. It is a tool for you to use in order to create something within the body, but you need to do the work. Yeah. But this is the disclaimer, and whatever we say here, it's just recommendations. There are no advice and, the diagnosis here. Yeah. So we can't answer medical questions in that kind of way. If you have those, please refer to your medical practitioner or your doctor to actually help you with that. Okay, so what are meridians? Simplistically, they are energy channels within the body transporting, yeah, let's use the word transporting, life energy. So we can call it chi, we can call it ki, we can call it prana, we can call it just energy, we can call it life energy, whatever you want to give it a name. Yeah, but it is energy that actually moves life within us. And they go through our physical body. They're not only going through our physical body, they're actually connecting to our energetic body as well. If there are any blockages on these pathways, energetic pathways, leading to lack of energy supply to certain areas because there's a block, the energy can't get to certain areas of the body, or a surplus of energy in other areas. Yeah, because if it's blocked somewhere, it's going to find another pathway, right? It's like water. And there'll be more energy here and less energy here. They can be used for treatment of a condition or a diagnosis of what's going on in the body. And this is what traditional Chinese medicine does. Yeah. I am not that. I have done my own research and my own knowledge, but definitely have not done this for my life. So I do not possess the entire knowledge. Yeah. But they are quite powerful, and they've been used for thousands of years to actually treat and diagnose people and patients quite accurately. Yeah. And also to heal people as well, to create the environment in the body to heal people, for people to heal. Okay, so energy blockages, how can they be created? They can be a result of stress. So stress can be such a wide umbrella of what causes stress to the body. It can be an injury, a physical injury, or a trauma. Yeah, trauma can be physical or emotional. It can also be bad living habits, like diet, habits, addictions that are not actually in balance, lack of exercise, lack of sunshine. There's so many things that are influencing our physical body and energy capacity within the body, and can be traced to the root of all health, physical, mental, spiritual problems within our body. Yeah, so issues and challenges. So why would that be? Well, because these pathways are the energy, the source of who we are, and the energy needs to move. And if the energy is moving, then of course it actually brings information to organs, physical tissue, and everything that we are created out of. Yeah, and we are energy, and energy on organ level or physical tissue level, on a physical body level, it's literally just a different density. Yeah, it's a different number of frequencies. Yeah, that we can actually now hold and see, and it's tangible. So now let's look at the emotions. We've looked at the emotions, and we know that emotions are energy in motion, and we know they need to move. So energy needs to move. So they're actually electrical messengers, and we've talked about this. So electrical messages mean they actually flow through these pathways. So it's an energy with electrical charge that actually literally flows through these pathways that we call meridians, through the body, within the body. So it utilizes these pathways in order to send messages to different organs and part of the body within ourselves. They also have their own frequency. Every emotion has their own frequency. And they relate to the frequency of the specific organs in the body, because they hone on own different frequencies. They gravitate naturally because we have resonance, right? Same frequencies come together to resonate. They are prone to connected to different organs and elements of our body. And what does that mean? Yeah, well, it means that that energy can stagnate in specific organs or in the pathways of those organs. Yeah, meridians of those organs. So for example, there's a pathway, the liver meridian goes through the body, but it's the energy of the emotion doesn't mean, for example, that it's going to just be located in the liver. It can be located throughout the body of the liver meridian. Yeah, anywhere through the body. And it could also have the opposition. So depending on, if it was a surcharge of energy or it was actually contraction. Yeah, because we have polarities in emotions as well as in a physical level, right? So we can, even with meridians, we can have a meridian that it's open, so it has too much energy, like chakras, and we have a meridian that it's closed, there's a blockage, there's not enough energy in it. Yeah, and there's different layers of traditional Chinese medicine. We're not going to go into that. I'm just giving you the basics so you can start building the blocks within your body and understanding what's going on in your body and start hearing the messages. Okay, this is a mouthful. Yeah, so if you do need emotions and the connections and everything, don't worry, I can actually post this photo slide in the group, so don't stress. You can get that. So let's dive in. There are, in Chinese traditional medicine, there are seven, well, there's five main emotions and two additional that are they influence the same meridians, but there's seven main emotions. Yeah, let's look at that. So we have anger, we have joy, we have pensiveness, we have worry, we have fear, and then two additionals, which are sadness and shock. So this is how Chinese traditional medicine looks at things. And this is through thousands and thousands of years of research and checking in with the body and, feedback and all of that. So these are emotions. These are literally just names for specific frequencies, yeah, that we call emotions. And those emotions influence specific elements and organs within the body and the pathways within the body. So let's look at them. Yeah, so we can now start realizing what's going on in the body, and we can start listening to those messages. When we are facing anger, we are experiencing anger. Anger in its emotional state, it actually affects the organ of the liver and the pathway, the meridian pathway of the liver. So the anger can be expressed as anger, like we know it, or it can have other emotional states of resentment, repressed anger, irritability, frustration, rage, hatred. Yeah, there's so many different ways of expressing anger because, again, it has layers. Yeah, so one is rage is like completely open, completely out of the body, yeah, quite intense, where, frustration is quite low. So it's just a bit of irritability, yeah? So there's different frequency to this anger and a different effect to the body as well, yeah? But it is in the anger umbrella, yeah? So as anger as an emotional state in the energy, because it's quite intense, it makes the ki or the chi rise in the body. So what we actually call it's fire, it actually inflames the body. Yeah, so too much anger actually inflames the body. It literally feels when you're angry, you're hot. Yeah, so that means you have fire within the body because chi is rising. Yeah. And the symptoms will manifest in the head, neck, like for example, headaches, dizziness, tinnitus, neck stiffness, red blotches on the front part of the neck, or red face. Yeah, so that's why energy is going up. So you get symptoms in there. We also know that anger injures the liver. So it actually affects liver in a contractive way. So it takes energy out of the liver. What contradicts anger is actually sadness. It contracts anger, so it actually can balances the effect on your liver or the meridian of the liver. Yeah. So why is sadness? That's an interesting question, right? So when we are looking at anger itself, and I always say anger is an active emotion. So when we feel anger, it means that our boundaries have been crossed so much, but in essence, we actually feel a different emotion underneath. And if you ever really explored yourself, yeah, really deeply, if you go deep, 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 deep within yourself behind that anger, you will actually find sadness or grief. So it's an interesting combination, but emotions have pairs and they connect together. And if we want to actually balance the anger, we need to look at the emotion that's underneath. And that means that when we look at sadness, it's going to affect a different meridian. So in essence, you can have a physical symptom that it's coming up on a physical level that you can see it. That will be, for example, in lungs, because sadness affects lungs. But in essence, it's the anger coming out. For example, you're screaming, but the effect, you can feel it in your chest. Yeah, like the heaviness in your chest. So you know that those two are connected. Just something to think about. We're not going to go too deep into this, but just something to think about. Okay, joy. Joy affects the heart. So you will say, but joy is a positive emotion. Why would that be a problem for the heart? Well, too much joy, yeah, can actually be a shock to the heart. And actually, it expands the body, the frequency of the body, and the physical body so much that it actually drains the energy of the heart. If we look at overall, every single emotion on this chart affects the heart, because the heart is actually the vortex of energy and the blood that's moving through the body. Yeah. But every emotion affects the heart differently. So joy affects the heart and the state of excessive excitement and craving, which can injure the heart. So too much craving, too much possessiveness of something that we want. It can be physical craving or emotional craving. And also excessive excitement. If we are too much in excitement, and overall, it's draining the energy. An overexcitement state could cause migraine attacks, or mostly in children, where overexcitement usually ends in tears. So if you ever had a really exciting news, yeah, you would feel that you could actually start crying. Yeah, so that's an expression. So we need to calm and balance that out. And what counteracts joy is actually fear. I wouldn't encourage you to, scare someone when they are too excited, but calming down would be a better option, and not going into fear. But we don't want to go in oppositions either way. Pensiveness affects the spleen, so too much spleen actually creates the blood in the body. Liver moves it. Yeah, so when spleen is creating the blood, is actually the nutrients of the body. So pensiveness actually slows down the energy of the body. Yeah, and regeneration. It can lead to obsessive thoughts, nostalgic hankering after the past, and generally thinking intensely about life rather than living it. Yeah, so this is a fear of action. Yeah, so we are literally analyzing and overthinking things, but doing nothing. Yeah, so we are actually stressing the body without moving it into action, because remember, energy needs to move. So pensiveness is actually a really not contractive, but a passive energy. Pensiveness injures the spleen, yeah, but anger counteracts passiveness. So anger, as I said, is an active emotion. We don't want to be in anger, but anger actually moves us in this environment to do something about something. Yeah. So worry affects the lungs. And worry actually knots the ki or chi, right? So for example, if you have ever done facial fascia exercises, right? So fascia in the body, when the contraction of the emotion happens through the pathways, you will actually, when you're stretching the fascia around the meridians, you will actually hear the fascia crack. So, and you would actually need to unwind it. So it feels like there's like knots in there. And when you start stretching the body, you will feel like, and there's this feeling in the body that the energy is completely knotted. Yeah. That can be around the lungs, can be at the back of, your shoulders, because that's the chest area and the lung area. It can also be through the meridians of the lungs. So it actually knots the chi, which means that it causes stagnation, right? So there's energy that's stagnant in there, and there's whatever energy is stagnant, it's like stale water. Yeah, so something starts rotting, something starts, there's inflammation possible there. There's not toxin not moving, there's not new oxygen coming in on a physical level. So there can be issues happening in that area of the body. And it affects not only lungs, but also spleen, because as we know, if energy is passive, we know spleen is a passive energy with pensiveness, right? So if it's contractive, that means it actually affects the spleen, not only the lungs. So how does it affect? So we have symptoms of uncomfortable feeling of the chest. Yeah, so like heaviness in the chest, slight breathlessness, so a shorter breath. Yeah, so you literally are breathing shallow, like in the top instead of into the belly. Tensing of shoulders, so there's like heavy burden, or like you actually move forward your shoulders if there's a lot of energy stagnant at the back. Sometimes can be dry cough, a weak voice, so you can't actually express yourself, sighing, and a pale complexion. So if you ever actually stretched your fascia like in your head and the neck part, you will understand that when you actually start releasing this, you will start yawning and you will actually start breathing deeper. So if you haven't tried it, try it, and you will see the effect on your physical body. Okay, how does it affect the spleen? If you have a poor appetite, gastric discomfort, some abdominal pain, distension, tiredness, a pale complexion. So tiredness can come from a lot of different things, just letting you know. Worry injures the lungs, but joy counteracts worry. So because worry is a passive kind of emotion as well as passiveness, right? Joy is actually active, and if it's too much joy, you literally get out of the body. So bringing joy when we have too much worry or stress, yeah, bringing joy and pleasure into life will actually activate us. Yeah, if we don't do that, then a situation in our life, issue in our life will meet us and present as an opportunity in our life in order to activate us. And normally what happens when we have that opportunity is we have a trigger, and that trigger normally triggers anger within us. Yeah, even if we are in fear, the situation that we are confronted with will trigger anger because it needs to move us out of the pool of water that's stagnant. Okay, fear. There was a lot of hands for that one. So let's look at that one. Fear affects the kidneys. Kidneys are an organ, what we call an organ of life energy. They actually produce life energy within the body. So if kidneys are not working properly, you will actually be really tired and you will not have any motivation. You will not feel like you can move forward in life. You will feel stuck. There's so many things around that you could actually look at. Yeah. And they're also an organ that detoxes things that we don't need anymore, be it toxins, be it emotions, out of the body. So with fear, again, it's a different way of passive emotion, yeah, because it actually sometimes can freezes us, or sometimes we can run away and we actually deplete ourselves. So it includes both chronic state of fear and anxiety and sudden fright. Yeah, so that could be connected to shock as well, but I'll let you know later when we look at that. Symptoms can be nocturnal incontinence in children, bedwetting, yeah, and incontinence or diarrhea in adults. Yeah, so when we are in anxiety and a lot of fear, our digestive system will dump all the toxins out, and that's where diarrhea comes out. So we can have more energy because the digestive system doesn't work when we need to run away or pretend we are dead from a tiger. Yeah, that's where fear comes from. And yeah, so it also has heat in the face, night sweating, palpitations, and dry mouth and throat. Those can be symptoms of fear when you are feeling it within the body. Yeah. Fear injures the kidneys, but pensiveness counteracts fear, which is an interesting thing, right? Because if we look at it, pensiveness is actually a passive emotion. But what happens here is that pensiveness at least comes into the body, where fear can push you out of the body, freeze you into the body, literally contracts the energy. So so if you look at fear is lower frequency than pensiveness, so it actually moves you into a more neutral state to actually balance out the energy within the body. And then we have two additional one, which is sadness and shock. So sadness actually affects the lungs, and includes the emotions of grief and regret. It can manifest in a variety of symptoms such as breathlessness, tiredness, feeling of discomfort in the chest, depression, or crying. Yeah. And sometimes it feels like the heart will just jump out of the chest, or we're going to be kind of crushed underneath a big boulder. Yeah. When we feel sadness within the body, and it affects the heart as well. Shock. Shock can come from fear, but is actually what really why is this an emotion in the body? Because it actually vibrates our whole body. And when it vibrates our whole body, what happens on an energetic level is actually our soul jumps out. In order to protect our physical existence, our soul literally is pushed out of the body because of all these vibrations. So that means that we are kind of disconnected and we can be lost and kind of don't know where we fit in and where we are. And we kind of can wander in this physical space. Yeah. Just letting you know, additional on an energetic level, not from Chinese medicine. So, shock with the shock symptoms can lead to palpitation, breathlessness, and insomnia. So because insomnia, when we go to sleep, we actually exit, our soul exits the body. Yeah. And we actually live a completed, well, another life when we dream. Yeah. So when we actually in a state of sleep, we are in a spirit state. We're not in a physical state. We are in our natural state. And insomnia can be that because we don't have a connection, our soul and the body are not connected because we've been vibrated so much. We can't actually calm down, our nervous system calm down because it doesn't know where it is. It doesn't have orientation. So we can toss and turn and actually don't know how to bring that energy back to connection. Yeah. So this gives you a feeling of how you can actually feel that within the body. Yeah. So let's look at a different polarity of what you can notice, for example, what's going on in your body, and look at the emotions connected to that so you can start learning about your body and understanding more of what your body is actually telling you. Probably you've heard of organ clock. Yeah. So if you haven't, this is this little organ clock. Yeah. Our body has a rhythm. Yeah, so this is just basics. We're not going to go really deep into the meridians, but I am going to show you the programs so you can actually start supporting yourself. This is just basics so you can start looking at how to apply certain programs for yourself within the body and start listening to the messages of understanding what's actually going on and where to look, in what direction to go to actually start contemplating and exploring your own body so you can start supporting it. So our body has a rhythm. Pathways that flow through our body, called meridians, have their own rhythm. And they are literally aligned with a specific time throughout the day and night. Yeah. So as you see, there's times here. So this is 11 and then 1. This is midnight. Yeah. So this is nighttime and then we're going into day. Yeah. So if you look at from 11 o'clock onwards till 5 o'clock in the morning, these are all your meridians that are your detoxifying meridians. We're going to look at detoxification next week. So we're going to go deeper into that so you can actually start learning how your body's working. But this is a great position to put you in so you can start connecting the dots. So if you go to bed at midnight or 1, you're actually missing the gallbladder meridian, and from 10 to 1 are actually the most important hours of your detoxification. It's also, when we look at the body, those are the hours, what we call the golden hours, that your body actually creates the most serotonin. Yeah. So if you want happy hormones, get to bed before 10 o'clock at night. And then we have all the detoxification organs. So at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's a large intestine, which means your body wants to eliminate all the toxins that has been processing throughout the night. It wants to eliminate. So these are actually natural rhythms of your body. So why is this important? So I'll tell you what these meridians are here. So meridians are actually they're working in pairs. So one is literally pulling the energy down through the body. The other pathway is going and pulling the energy up. So this is just really simplistically, yeah, because we can't go into details. We don't have enough time. But as you've seen, I've actually give you different colors. But these are all meridians on the organ clock. They actually go in pairs together, one after another. Yeah, and you will see that they go from yang to yin and yin to yang and yang to yin. So they literally complement each other. So what is yin and yang? So yin actually presents the feminine side of nature, yeah, encompassing the darkness, tranquility, expansion, depth, cold, wetness. Cold wetness, this comes with elements if we go into deeper into, yeah, to the emotions, into the meridians and how your body is actually responding. We don't have the time to do that. But the moon and the water are yin elements, yeah. Water also relates to emotions. Then we have yang energy and yang meridians, which represent the masculine principle, action, yeah. Feminine principle is receiving, and encompassing light, yeah, activity, height, contraction, heat, and dryness. The heaven, the sun, and fire are yang elements. So why is that important? So when we look at these words, we can actually look at the emotions. And when we are experiencing them within the body, we can actually start pinpointing, was this a receptive energy? Was this active energy? Was I going out, or was I actually bringing in something or receiving or pulling in something? Yeah. Why is this important? Because when you have dreams, and dreams happen during the night, and these are all detoxification meridians, yeah, the pathways we detoxify through, we're not detoxifying only the physical elements, we are detoxifying emotional elements as well. So there's memories, thoughts, perspectives, yeah, all of that is processed through our dreams. And if we don't remember the dreams, that's okay. We still bring that consciousness into the daylight, yeah? And we work through the day, we have relationships, we relate to other people, we relate to the environment around us. So why am I saying this? If something happens during the night and you wake up and you say, oh, I had this big dream and I was feeling this and this and this and this, I was scared, I was angry at this person, or whatever happens, yeah? Write it down, and then look at when you actually woke up. So if you woke up between 1 and 3 in the morning and you were processing this relationship and you were angry at this person, something did blah blah blah, you can see that you woke up in the liver meridian, and liver actually governs anger. Anger is related to liver meridian, yeah. So what does this tell you? It actually tells you that there's a blockage or an overheated energy or overexpensive energy in that area, yeah. So how will you know? Well, if the dream was you were yelling at someone, yeah, you are probably too much energy pushing out of the body. If somebody was yelling at you and you were angry and you couldn't speak up, probably there's a blockage in there that you need to look at, emotionally, energetically, and physically, yeah, and also mental patterns to look at as well. So when something happens throughout the day, for example, you have an argument or a shock, or something happens, an issue happens, between 5 and 7 o'clock in the afternoon, and you can see that that's a kidney meridian. You will actually see how you respond. So for example, if you go into fear, there's a blockage in there. If you actually are not bothered by it, that means your kidneys are strong. So you can start observing your body. This is a simplistic way, but you can start observing your body throughout the day and what's happening at certain times of the day. So you can start bringing awareness to the pathways, to the rhythm of your body into your awareness. Yeah. And you can start looking at the emotions and where they're sitting in the body. So if something happens and you don't know, you don't remember, you dream but you don't remember, and you wake up between 3 and 5 o'clock at night, and you always wake up at that time, for a week or 2 or 3, maybe there's something to look at in the lung area. Yeah. So you can then go and use either Healy Blue app and start scanning your chakras and scanning your coach module, so you can actually start seeing the patterns and you can start relating. Okay, this emotion is coming up, this pattern is coming up. How is this relating to? Is this relating to this area? You can actually set an intention to actually do that. Yeah. Or the other way to actually do it is to use Healy Meridian programs. Yeah. So you will also see that these meridians, yeah, they are paired meridians, so they influence each other. So for example, stomach meridian is a yang meridian energy going down through the body, and yin meridian is spleen meridian is the energy is going up to the body. So this is just how the energies are moving, right? Taking, giving, whatever you want to say it. Why is this important? Because if you look at stomach here, spleen comes after. So if something happens in the stomach or this time of the day within your body and in your environment, it's going to influence not only your stomach, but also what happens afterwards. So you can start supporting not only your stomach, but also your spleen and your heart. Do you see what I'm saying? So you can actually use your organ clock to actually start supporting your body, because if you have a shock and something happens, it's not going to just affect one part of your body that's in that meridian. It's going to affect everything after, because the energy before it's going to balance, it's going to actually affect other organs. But if you catch it before and you actually give yourself an opportunity to balance that energy with programs like meridians, you actually lessen that effect on the body. That means that your body will come back to balance faster. Yeah, it's a bit of a Sherlock Holmes investigation with emotions and things that are suppressed in the body. That means that you will need to actually start observing, connecting to the body, and start having some observations, inspections, insights, literally reflections of what happened, how it happened, connecting the dots to actually understand your body and go deep and deep and deep into your body to find the root cause. Another way, as I said, to actually find the root cause is to go the other way around. So when we apply programs like Meridian 1 or 2 or any other program that you hear, if we are honest, what we're doing is we're gently shaking the tree. We're gently shaking the body. We're gently shaking the meridians, and we are moving the energy that's stuck in those pathways to the surface. So when the energy starts moving, because energy needs to move, yeah, we then can read that energy more easily. If we can't read it yet, what will happen, yeah, and that I can probably say 99% that it will happen, is it will actually show up in your physical environment as a challenge, an issue, an argument, situation that happens that actually triggers those emotions within you. And this is where the opportunity lies for you to actually take that challenge and start looking at it, reflecting on it, but at the same time, you can start supporting yourself on a physical level, on an energetic level, and on an emotional level, as well as on a mental level with patterns. Let's look at the programs. I'm just going to go really quickly through those. I'm just going to stop this because you probably used them before, but just so we are clear. Okie dokie. Let's go share this one. Where are you? Here. Okay. So you will find in the Meridian 1 and Meridian 2, there's a 2 list of programs. So you will find different meridians on the organ clock. There will be specific meridians like large intestine, bladder, gallbladder. Then you'll have liver, lungs, yeah? So you'll have specific meridian programs created to stimulate and balance those meridians. So my suggestion, yeah, you can do it the way you want to, yeah, and the way feels right for your body. But if you are balancing one, yeah, for example, like we had stomach, yeah, The pairing meridian was spleen. So if you are supporting the stomach, I would encourage you to actually start supporting the spleen and pancreas as well. So you actually balance both energies slowly, and you're not pushing the energy only one way. So it's either gonna hit the wall, yeah, or it's actually going to burst out. So if you're balancing both pairing meridians, it's gonna help you balance your body faster. You will also find other programs which are not specific meridians in the body, but there are pathways that support other meridians. Yeah, so for example, allergy meridian, or fatty degeneration, or skin. So for example, if you, for example, have, I don't know, fear challenges in your life, then kidneys are connected with detoxification. So you want to support your body to detox anything that's not, it's sitting in the body and you want to move it out. It needs to support the kidneys. Yes, you're going to run the kidney meridian, which is here. But remember, anything with detoxification, we will look at that next week as well, is, for example, the lymphatic system is connected to kidneys because it literally flushes out the toxins, right? And it's underneath the skin. So we can actually connect the skin here, yeah? And then we can connect the bladder, which is connected to the kidneys. So we can actually support the pathways within the body in order for the body to start cleansing out things and get them out, so you get a fresher perspective on the emotional side as well. Because when we are eliminating physical toxins and physical elements out of the body, they will also have an emotional charge because they go paired together. Yeah, so it's not one or the other, it's together. Yeah, you might not notice it sometimes, but it comes together. If you actually start moving things out of the body, you will start having memories and emotional releases as well. Yeah, just letting you know. So if you are going to stimulate specific organs and specific meridians, expect that you will feel certain emotions. So if you are suppressing those in that moment, you will have a challenge because now your body is eliminating and wants to get rid of things, and you're suppressing the energy, so you're actually creating a blockage. So make sure that you give yourself enough kindness and enough space to honor those emotions that are coming up. And please, one thing that I would really, really, really love you to hear is no emotion is a bad emotion. Yeah. So when people come to me and say, yeah, but I'm fine if I'm afraid, but I'm not okay if I'm angry, because anger, you can't just express anger. That's not okay if you scream. But it's okay if you're afraid. There is no difference. It's just an energy. It's just expressed differently. If we stop taking things so personally and we actually look at it as, okay, it's an emotion of energy of anger and has nothing to do with me and has nothing to do with that person, it's just being expressed. Can we honor that for ourselves and be kind to ourselves and go, okay, I've never expressed this before. I actually need to express this now. How can I do it in a safe or safer environment instead of projecting it to others, screaming at others because we don't actually know what's going on for us? And normally we open up with people that we love. How can I move myself away so I can calm myself enough to actually understand what emotions am I feeling? What is needing to be expressed? How do I need to express it? So those are all inquiry questions that you can use and choose to do in the moments of stress, issues, conflicts, that you can take responsibility for yourself. And if you need, you can also use Healy to scan yourself to see what's going on. There's plenty of options we've done. Schüsselsalz, you can scan meridians, you can scan aura, you can scan so many things that might help you understand yourself better. And then inquire, ask questions, yeah? But looking at the meridians, allergy meridian is good to actually help balance any sensitivities in the body. Yeah, so to help body kind of cope with certain things. Connective tissue is beautiful to help with healing, to help support the healing of the fascia, any connective tissue in there. If you run connective tissue, I will try it. You will have emotional releases because fascia is actually electromagnetic, so it has memories and neurons in there. So if you actually activate connective tissue, it will balance it, but it will also move energy out where it's stagnant. Again, basic meridians, gallbladder, bladder, they're specific for that, right? And they connect to the organs they belong to. So gallbladder goes to liver, bladder goes to kidneys. Then we have large and small intestine. Think of large and small intestine as thinking processes. What are we eliminating, digesting out of the body, like we had with deep cycles? Fatty degeneration can also be with metabolism. This can also be connected to either your lungs or your glands or kidneys, like that connects to thyroid. Sometimes it can also be intestine and stomach, depending on what's going on in the body and what was affected after the emotion happened. Then we have joints, skin, heart. So joints are really good if there's a lot of inflammation in the body. I would start looking at the anger and where it's sitting in the body. Yeah, so looking at you can research, you can go on Google or whatever browser, and you can actually go look at meridians, like points on meridians if you want to, and where the meridians fall in the body, so you can see what the pathways are, and you can see, if it falls on the knee that you actually have a challenge with, you might understand that the inflammation might happen not only on a physical level, but also on an emotional level. Heart, I always encourage any emotional releases or anything that's happening in the body, the energy moving through the body when we are releasing things. I like to run heart meridian after any release because it helps to balance the energy of the entire energetic bubble around you. Hormone balance, again, those are all the glands in the body. Yeah, it helps to balance any hormones. It doesn't matter, it's not just sex hormones, any hormones in the body. Circulation is really good, not only for hormone balance or for metabolism, but circulation is also good when we actually feeling passive emotions like pensiveness, sometimes fear, worry. Yeah, those are emotions that actually are stagnant. So building up circulation will actually help to move that energy through the body. Then we have your liver, which is connected to the anger, lungs, worry, and sadness. Lymphatic system can also be sometimes connected to either kidneys or the spleen, because any passive emotions, any passive energy in the body will stop the energy moving. So we need to move the lymph, move the circulation in order to actually start moving the emotion. Stomach can be either lungs, it can be either intestine, it can be either liver, pancreas, spleen. So there's so many things that can affect that. Then we have spleen, pancreas, nerve, which we know is pensiveness, nerve meridians. So nerves are two-folded. So nerves can be connected to either your liver, your kidneys, and they also charge your energetic field. Yeah. So if you don't have enough life energy, or if you're taking your life energy away with anger, yeah, you're literally dispersing it, your energetic field will be weaker because your nerves will be affecting the charge of your energetic field. So if you have a really intense situation happening somewhere, yeah, and you feel like a bit shocked afterwards or like vibrating, run the nerve meridian or the pure energy in deep cycle, and that actually helps to balance the energy dispersal around the energetic field. Kidneys, again, life energy. If you feel like stuck, if you feel like you're exhausted, fatigued, those are really beautiful. It's a beautiful meridian program to actually support your life energy. Organ meridian all over the body. Yeah, so this is literally you're balancing all the organs. It's like bringing coherence to your physical vessel. Yeah, so it's like connecting the organs to communicate with each other. Sometimes when the pathways are blocked, the energy doesn't flow properly, so the organs are not communicating properly. And if we sometimes run this program, what happens is we move the circulation through the body, we help to move the energy through the body. There's more signals coming through. Yeah, that's kind of in a gist. I really encourage you, let me just stop this. I really encourage you to start thinking about the emotions, specifically what you feel within the body. Not only just, yeah, it's stress, it's this. Because if we don't inquire within ourselves, nobody can actually tell us. Yeah, we can guess. Do you feel this? Do you feel that? But you are the only one knowing yourself. And if you don't know yourself, then unfortunately you will be attached to this physical life, and that will cause you more stress. Yeah, because this physical life is not nothing else but a dream that we are creating. Our mind is actually projecting our life outside of us. This is quantum field. Yeah, so this is advanced training, so I'm stretching your brain a bit. I think I've done my gist. Today was a long one too. So any questions, raise your hand. I'll go through the chat if there's anything that you would like to have answered. If I can answer, great. If you want to share, if you have more knowledge than I do, please do. I always love to learn. Can we get PPT? I don't know, you mean the emotional ones, slides? I can, for the emotions, I can do both if you want, for the organ clock and the emotions. I can pop that into the group without a problem. Can meridians be applied to entities such as business? Yes. Why? Why can any program in Healy be applied to not only your physical body, but to anything? Because we are energy, and anything you are creating, even business, is an extension of you. Yeah, it's a part of you because it's your energy. You are creating it. So you can actually focus that energy wherever you want to, and you can apply that. I wouldn't apply it to the business, like popping, spots on the computer, but you can intentionally use the program in order to focus that energy into the business, because meridians are just pathways of energy through the body, but they're also pathways of energy. They're focused energy. Yeah, it's like a highway. The energy likes focus. And the more you focus your energy, the more you use intention to focus your energy, the more you can actually transform whatever you want, because it is a dream. How many programs can be used per person per day? Okay. I got a question today that I was like, okay, that's an interesting one. So, as I said every time, please don't use more than 3 IMF programs per day on your body. Yeah. If you're sensitive, start with 1, add another 1. If it's too much, if you get agitated, if you feel like you're anxious, stop. Do 1 or 2. You're going to do more with less. Yeah. I got a question today, through a private message, of saying, can I scan the meridians in a blue app, and just run the 5 programs that come up? If you run 5 programs, if you run that whole list, vibrating it in resonance, of course. But if you run all 5 programs on a pink app, you're going to literally bombard your body with so much energy and frequency. And this, on a pink app, is actually a microcurrent application. You are stressing not only your body, you are stressing your heart, because the microcurrent is actually running through your heart. So make sure that you understand that I know that frequency is non-tangible for your 3D brain, but your body understands it, and you don't want to blast you know, a whole lot of water until you drown on your body. Yeah. So less is more, please. Especially with meridians and deep cycles, because they go really deep in through your body, and you will have things come up physically, emotionally. You can have a detox. Yeah. So when you start running deep cycles, and when you start running meridian programs, you might experience detox. So just have in mind, please make sure you have a pause between programs. Make sure that you have drink enough water and minerals. Make sure you observe your body, what's going on. If your body needs a pause, give it a pause. Yeah. So it's not one solution fits all. It's your body is unique. So please listen to that. Um, Thank you. Okay, so true or heart senses emotion before it even occurs, interference occurs. Correct. So we are first energy before we are physical, and we energetically feel emotions, sense them before they happen. But our feeling sensations of the body are just telling us what's going on within the body when we are receiving that message. The lung reading is in the thumb. If there are issues with the, oh, Jeffrey, thank you. I love Jeffrey, you adding things in. I would just love you if you, we need to talk. If there are issues with the thumbs, does that suggest a lung problem? I would like, I'm not an expert. Yeah. So, but the way I was tracking my body, I can share my experience. So I was, and this is something that I was looking into, and I didn't realize. So I used to have endometriosis, yeah, and I've healed endometriosis. I've suffered with it for over 10 years, horrible pain ever. But I was looking at the meridians within the body and was looking how they are connecting and what is coming up emotionally, physically, what elements and situations I need to kind of support in the body. But when I actually did, this was actually last year, or was it 2 years? 2 years now. Or was last year? I forgot. So I think it was last year, March. We did, my partner and I actually did teeth. So I had 2 root canals and there was no problem. But when we actually looked at them, they were both the same teeth, but they were infected underneath, but there was no problem. I had no problem with them. So when we pulled them out, and I had a holistic dentist that was checking with this special machine, it's like a wand that actually um, pushes the current through the body to actually see what meridian is blocked. Yeah, so it actually tests the points on the body. So it was funny because when we actually looked at what meridians were connected to these teeth, they were exactly on my uterus. So it's an interesting thing to understand that our body is connected through pathways of electrical currents. And as soon as I took out the teeth, my body started healing differently. So we need to understand that teeth are extensions. And we also tested from my partner and me if we would do the implants, for example. And the implants, which have the metal in them, would go directly into our electrical current of our jaw, yeah, where the teeth were. And we actually tested that it would reverse the electrical current. And if it reverses the electrical current, it can cause Alzheimer's and things in the brain or other issues in the body. So we need to be aware that we are magnetic beings first, and then we are electrical beings, and those are messages flowing through the body. So when we are actually looking at the meridians, we need to understand that if there's a lung issue on the thumb, for example, yeah, if there's a lung meridian, it could be a lung issue or it could be a pairing meridian, yeah, which is, I don't know which one it is, but if there's a pairing meridian with the lung meridian, we could look at that one as well and see what emotions are there and if there's any issues anywhere in the body. So this is how I looked at mine when I was healing. I was looking the pairing meridians, the points on the body, And if you do have the Mag Healy and the new Meridian program, oh my God. Yeah. If you don't have it, I would so encourage you to get it because it's amazing. Yeah. It actually scans your meridians, your whole meridians in the body, and it tells you if they are overactive, underactive, and then you can scan specific meridian that is, at the top, or whatever comes up, and it will scan every single point on that meridian and will show you in the body and will show you patterns that are connected to that point and what's going on in the body. It's phenomenal. Yeah, it's actually pulled out of the time waiver. And it's something that actually helps you understand your body deeper. And then you can literally run that scan through the Blue app on the Mag Healy to yourself as a resonance. And then you can go into the Meridian programs and actually you choose that Meridian to support yourself. And you can actually see, for example, with kidneys, which are left and right. As we know, last week in the deep cycles, we had the male and female kidney energy, right? The program. That doesn't mean that it's for males or females. It's also our left and right kidney. Yeah, left is energy, is feminine energy. The right is the masculine energy. So you can see if your masculine or feminine energies are overactive, underactive, and you can then support your body to bring that energy back to balance. Because sometimes we are more in masculine, so we go, 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 right? And sometimes we're more in feminine, we're passive, we don't have enough masculine active energy. So your body's organs will respond based on your actions. And it's fascinating to me still to actually observe and look at the body with Healy scans and understand how everything, I get goosebumps, how everything relates to each other. Yeah. This is, if you don't understand what kind of incredible tool you have in your hands, I can't tell you enough how much insight you can get about your body and how much you can support yourself by understanding more about yourself. If you do that, imagine how much empowerment you'll have within your fingers. You will actually understand yourself better and you won't have to trust blindly whoever, a doctor, a coach, whoever it is, to actually tell you this is what it is going on with you. No, because you will know. You will trust your body, your own inner intelligence of what's going on. You just need to empower yourself to trust yourself enough to actually go there. Okay. Fight, flight response, pensiveness to fear. Yes. You can. It depends on how your body reacts. It also, there's a deeper level to that. It depends on your previous experience with fear. So your nervous system remembers. Your emotions are connected to your nervous system. Yeah. So your nervous system charges your electrical field, your torus field. If you had an experience, of fear that was intense and your body freezes, you're not going to be able to go to pensiveness either, right? So sometimes going out of a freeze response with fear, it's harder than if you are in flight or fight. So depending on your experience of your nervous system in the body of that emotion and whatever perspective you had, it's harder to actually move from one emotion to another. So that's why Healy is really good, because then you can actually support yourself, your kidneys, you can support your lungs, which are detoxification. We're going to look at that next week, to actually move the energy and allow the body to respond naturally. So you can then start observing step by step what's going on with the emotions and your experiences, so you can act accordingly to tweak and support your body in responses. I am not a fan, and I will say this bluntly, I am not a fan of people pushing others to say, you're in fear, just choose love. Or, it's okay, you just need to choose something. So when you're in that vortex of emotion, yeah, your nervous system breaks down. Yeah, you can't respond in a way that you would like to. So moving from fear to anger, yeah, or moving from fear, the best version to flip emotions is gratitude. Find one thing that will actually bring you back to neutrality, one thing that you're grateful for in that moment, that you can see that you are able to be grateful for. The more you're going to expand that grateful feeling, the more you're going to switch the frequency, and the easier it will be to actually move yourself out of the vortex. And it's going to take time, especially if your nervous system has been in contraction for a while. And this is where Healy comes in, is you can apply frequencies through resonance and through programs to actually help you shift that, because now you're applying the harmonic frequencies for your nervous system to balance and respond better to the environment. Because otherwise you're in contraction, and no matter how much you want to move yourself out of that vortex, you won't be able to do that. Yeah, you're actually contracting yourself more because you're pushing yourself. So shift in frequency doesn't happen with contraction or push. It happens with open up and surrender. I know it's a contradictive factor, but it really happens that way. I promise. You need to surrender to the unknown and trust that something else will come. And that goes against your 3D brain, your ego, because it wants to protect you. And emotions are something that are really challenging for people because they are doing it with their head instead of with their body. You can't analyze emotions. I will tell you that right away. You won't be doing anything. You won't shift anything. You need to feel them, and you need to have your body respond to them, because emotion lasts in the body when it's first felt only 6 seconds. When it's stagnant and suppressed, it lasts only 20 seconds. Yes, I know. But that 20 seconds will feel like you're tortured, because you're going to be experiencing the same feelings in potency of what you've been suppressing for so long. But if you can hold on to that 20 seconds, I promise you, if you breathe through them, you apply your Heelys and move through things, I promise you, the next time you will do it, it will be much easier to work with. Yeah, and you will actually see how easy and simple it is to work with your emotions and how you can empower yourself. Okay, now me. Okay. Yes, so trauma and shock go together. Yeah, so that's why if you look at the trauma, yeah, so when shock happens, normally trauma is connected. When trauma happens, what happens within our body, we actually separate one part of ourselves. So when we are moving through trauma and releasing trauma in the body, we actually need to bring two parts of ourselves together. And that actually is really challenging because we can't identify it with the trauma side of us. And we feel like we need to eliminate that. So when we are looking at those polarities coming together, that's why I say open up and surrender is acceptance, receiving, accepting ourselves and building us back together into one, because that's what it's neutralizing the frequency of shock. Okay. Oh, recordings are either through emails at the end of the month or in our Facebook group. I'll post the link when I go through this one. Will it be best to run at the time? Yes, thank you for reminding me. I forgot to say that. So if you are running the Meridian programs, use the organ clock. So if you can run the Meridian programs in the timing of the Meridian program in the organ clock. If you can't do that for liver, yeah, you're not going to wake up at 1 o'clock. The best option is the first thing in the morning. So if you're working on a liver, the first thing you wake up, the first thing you do is put the liver program on. So the closest to the meridian you can get, the best. It's okay if you put it on at 6 o'clock when you're still in the large intestine meridian, because it's still elimination. And if you actually activate the liver, it's going to start the detoxification. And if you already have the large intestine elimination phase, this will actually help get rid of things. It's not ideal, but it's still okay. Yeah, it's better than run it in the heart meridian. Yeah, we don't want that. Those are two different energies. So if you can connect to the clock and run those meridians programs based on that clock in that timing, ideally. Yeah. So when we look at detoxification next week, I'm gonna show you as well when we look at what organs we detoxify and what the detoxification pathways are. I also encourage you to run those programs the closest to the detoxification meridian programs as possible. Yeah. So because that's the pathway and rhythm of the body, and you're actually working with the body, so you're not going against the current. But a bit like the natural cycle, you do the opposite. Yes. So natural cycle is again based on the organ clock. So it's all the programs and protocols are actually, majority of them are based on the natural rhythms of the body. So they're based on the organ clock. So that's why you'll see similarities as well. Yes, I'll give you the recording. I always get those coming up. How do we know which program pairs with each other? Okay, so Deb, I will give you the slide in the group. So the pairing organs are the ones that I actually gave you. So the yin and the yang, the yin and the yang. So those are the pairing meridians, as well as the organs with them. And they connect on the organ clock. They're one after each other. Yeah. So spleen and then going stomach and then spleen and then heart moving forward. Yeah. So those are all connecting meridians and pairing. Yes. Perfect. Any other questions that I missed? Oh, you mean like protocols? Okay, so meridians don't have a protocol. The only protocol that I do, and this is the one that I created for myself, I will show you next week. Yeah, so I will give you a detoxification protocol that I created for myself. And they are based on the meridians as well. Because meridians, the protocol that I would suggest is literally using the organ clock and supporting yourself through that, observing your body. Because the only way that the meridians work is just the stages of detoxification moving into regeneration. So that's how I use it and that's how I read on it. If somebody else has different information, please let me know. I would love to know. I would love to expand my knowledge. For sciatica nerve issue, is nerve harmony in the meridian page good? Yes, you can. There is a sciatica. Oh, where was that? I haven't used it. If anybody knows which list of programs sciatica is, there is a proper sciatica nerve program for that. I know there's a Healy one as well. Otherwise, depending on which leg, sciatica can be connected to the liver and gallbladder meridian, so which goes and flows down the leg. So just have in mind that if meridians, which are, so there's a gallbladder meridian that actually flows on the outside of the hamstring, and it goes back into the back. So if that is actually contracted, the fascia there is contracted, all the nerves will actually be caught in it. So when you release the fascia, when you stretch your connective tissue, you actually start releasing the nerves that are caught in there. Yeah, they're squeezed because there's too much contraction. So my suggestion for anything you do in the physical body, pair it with exercise, sunlight, ocean if you can, because it has meridians and charge, electrical charge, or nature. Yeah. Somatic exercise. You can't just push frequency into your body. If there's contraction in there and there's blockage, you're literally hitting the wall. Yeah, so you need to stretch your body in order to move the energy through so the frequency can get there. It's like the pathways we need to open. Yeah. Bioenergetic harmony. Thank you. I forgot where it was. I haven't used it for so long. Um, Coil, okay. Coil is great, but when it comes to physical body, make sure you use bracelets because you are not only sending a message to your field so your body can start adjusting, you're actually charging your cells. You're giving information and a charge to your cells so the cell can actually divide properly and regenerate whatever it needs to regenerate in the body properly. So make sure that deep cycles or anything you want more effect on a physical body, yeah, not on emotional or mental or spiritual, on a physical body, use bracelets, yeah, or clips or whatever you want on a IMF charge. Yes, okay, meridians step by step. So as I said last week with the deep cycle, if you're new to Healy, or if you haven't done the gold cycle protocol, or if you haven't done gold cycles for a while and you've been just doing blue app, and if you haven't done like proper IMF programs for a while, I would start gold cycles for a month. Yeah. And then you can move on to deep cycles so you can go deeper into the body. Then if you want, what I would do is start a detoxification process or protocol, which we're going to look at next week. And then when you do the detoxification, means that you've clear out the pathways and your body can now work with certain things. So your toxins and anything that was stagnant in the body started to move. Now we are looking at supporting specific elements of the body. Now we are looking at regeneration. Now we are looking at, okay, do we go deeper in, supporting our gut system if that's not working? Do I go and look at the liver if that's not working? So working meaning optimally, yeah. Because if it's not working, then you're probably not alive anymore. But the liver, if you start supporting the liver, then the liver will start dropping things into the gut. So you'll need to start supporting the gut first before you go to the liver. So we need to look at the stages of how the body detoxifies, and we're going to look at that next week. How to check? You can't check health issues in pigs. So the only app that scans is the blue app. So Healy works with intention, with quantum field and resonance. So if you use intention for remote scanning or anything, you can do that. So you can scan frequencies through the blue app and you can send it to anyone with intention. If it's new to Healy, again, yeah, so depending on how, what's the word to use that's appropriate? Depending on how clogged your pathways are in the body. So if your body is really inflamed and if you have a lot of issues happening in the body, right? Lungs and kidneys and that and that and that and that, I would not put them on meridians. You need to first work with systematic programs to overall looking at the body, yeah, to balance things in the body before you target things individually. You can give them to them, but it's not going to have, either it's going to have a really huge detoxifying effect, or we're not going to really have a huge change, because if the pathways are clogged, they're not going to feel any difference. Thank you, Real. We need to keep Meg Healy on body for scanning meridians. Around your body, like the normal Healy. Or if you're doing it remotely, then intention. I had a tummy surgical place. How did that, Jeffrey, how did that thumb surgery affect his health? Was there any issues? How do we support? So we can't answer medical questions. You can search, Suresh, you can search things in the Heal Advisor search module for programs, but have in mind that whatever you're asking for, there's a contraindication for that with Healy. And make sure to not use microcurrent at all. Yeah. So coil would be the only option. Uplifting the emotions. So we touched on that, on the frequency of emotions last year. So you can take a look at the recording of last year for shifting the frequency. There's another special on the video. Well, there is a special right now for Australia. If you're in Australia, we have a really good promotion just started today for half price on the Mac Healy, and it includes the Meridian programs for free, which is amazing. Okay, which Facebook group. Yeah, Facebook. Thank you. I always forget to give you the link of the Facebook group. Let me just go in so I can give you the link. I always forget for the recordings. And just make sure you answer the questions as well as agree to the group rules. Otherwise, I need to send you messages 3 times because it will not accept you, because we have a setting in there. It will not accept you until you agree to the rules, because unfortunately, we can't have it without the rules. How do I? Okay. No, it's not everyone. Where's everyone? I can't do everyone. Where is everyone? Huh. That's interesting. Huh. My chat is not allowing me to share this with everyone. Huh. That's an interesting one. Let me close this and see if I can actually open this again with chat. Okay, try that. Okay, that's the group you can come into. Okay. So natural cycle is different than meridians. Yeah, so natural cycle actually activates your circadian rhythms. We're going to look at that in a different time. Yeah, so the link is down for everyone for the recordings. Oh my goodness, I'm going through this. Okay, anybody has any other questions, please raise your hand. Otherwise, we are going to kind of close in. Okay. Yeah, so the bracelet don't need to be on here. Yeah, you can pop them on your ankles, you can pop them anywhere. I have people that have really tiny hands, so like they put them up higher, so it doesn't really matter. Like my friend uses that for her family, and one of the older adult kids, you know, they just put it on the ankles because they don't like it on the hands. So you can do either or. So I can't answer that, Dell. You need to go into search module. Okay, so the recording will be available as soon as the Healy corporate actually processes the recording. Normally it is the next day. If it's not on Friday, please don't be angry at me. It will be up as soon as I get the link. And if the latest, the beginning of next week. Yeah, so make sure I always post the recording in the comments of the post for that training. If you have any questions, please tag me in the post so I can answer the questions. I'm normally in the group all the time. But if there's anything else, you're more than welcome to ask questions in the group as well. We don't answer medical questions on this because it's not compliant and we are not doctors, so we can't give you that. But if you need any support or anything else, please reach out to your upline or ask the questions in the group. But that it is for tonight. And I thank you for coming and joining me. But the rest, I will see you next week when we look at detoxification. Have a beautiful night, evening, day, whatever you are, and I will see you next week. Enjoy. Bye-bye.